Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Okay, so have you ever called someone rude and then just kind of realized, well, that doesn't really capture what they actually did? It's like a catch-all word, right? Today, we are going to move way past that generic label. We're going to get incredibly precise with our vocabulary by diving into 5 very specific words to describe a rude person.
Seriously, ask yourself, what kind of rude are they? I'm sure you've been deeply frustrated trying to explain exactly how someone offended you to a friend or coworker. Was it how they looked at you? Was it their tone of voice? What they actually said? Well, today we're building a real behavioral toolkit based on our source material so you can pinpoint exactly what's going on and express it perfectly.
Section 1. Arrogance and bluntness. Direct communication.
So, our very first word is arrogant. 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 This is someone who literally thinks they are better than everyone else. Think of that person who never listens to a single word you say because they're always absolutely sure that they're right. It's just a complete and total lack of humility.
Let's see how we'd actually use this in practice. He's too arrogant to ever say sorry. I want you to picture someone in your life right now who is literally incapable of apologizing, even when they're totally in the wrong. That inability to admit a mistake? Yeah, that is arrogance in action.
Now let's transition to a slightly gentler fault, blunt. 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 Being blunt means saying the truth very directly without softening it at all. What's really fascinating here is that this behavior isn't always unkind, It's just very direct. They skip the pleasantries and get right to the meat of the issue.
Here's our anchor quote for this one. She's blunt, but honest. Try to paint the picture in your mind of a really good friend who looks you in the eye and tells you straight up that your big plan, it's just not going to work. They aren't trying to hurt your feelings. They're just handing you the unvarnished truth.
And this brilliantly illustrates the core difference we really need to understand here. On one hand, you've got the arrogant person who thinks they are better than you. But then you have the blunt person who is simply direct. The absolutely crucial point here is that being blunt isn't actually bad. Unlike arrogance, which is for sure always rooted in this fake sense of superiority. Section 2. Harsh versus condescending. Unkind behaviors.
All right, the word here is harsh. 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 This means unkind and severe. It's a completely cold interaction with absolutely zero warmth. Picture a boss who criticizes you cruelly in a meeting and never ever offers a single word of encouragement. It's an environment that's just completely stripped of empathy.
To really anchor this word in your mind, let's look at a practical sentence. That was a harsh thing to say. We use this exact phrase to describe those freezing cold, severe interactions that just leave a sting. It's not just direct, it's genuinely painful and completely uncalled for.
Next up is condescending. 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 Basically, this means treating you like you're stupid. They're talking down to you as if you are literally beneath them. Oh, you know the type. The person who slowly over-explains very simple things to you, usually while sporting this totally fake, overly patient smile. Don't be so condescending. This quote perfectly captures that intense, bubbling frustration of being treated as if you're somehow less capable than the person speaking to you. Actually, it's the perfect verbal defense when you feel someone talking down to you like that.
Moving on to Section 3, the snobbish attitude, judging on status.
Our final word is snobbish. 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 A snobbish person looks down on people they think are somehow lower than them in terms of money, taste, or class. Think of someone you know who's just constantly judging everyone else's clothes, or maybe the kind of car they drive, totally convinced they're superior just because of what they own or consume.
Check out our anchor quote here. He's snobbish about wine. I mean, you hear this kind of phrasing all the time, right? It shows exactly how this word pops up in everyday conversation to describe judgments about taste and class. It's just classic gatekeeping mentality.
Section 4. Spotting the differences. Behavioral nuances. Okay, let's dive into this.
And categorize the distinct intent behind each behavior so we can lock them in. Arrogant, that's someone who thinks they're better than you. Blunt, just very direct. Harsh means unkind and severe. Condescending talks down to you. And snobbish means they look down on quote-unquote lower people. Notice how blunt is actually the only one here that isn't really rude by default. The other 4, those are the true offenders.
Finally, Section 5, locking in your vocabulary. Compound sentences.
Listen to how this all comes together step by step. Step 1, he's not just rude. Step 2, he's arrogant, condescending, and honestly, a bit snobbish. See that? Combining these precise terms is just so much more effective and descriptive than falling back on generic words. You're basically painting a vivid, highly accurate psychological portrait.
As our source material beautifully advises for language retention, shadow me every day, and these words grow in your mind. So practice these definitions, actually say them out loud, and remember, as you evaluate the people in your life, being blunt isn't always a bad thing, because sometimes, honestly, honesty is a kindness.
So, the real crucial point here is taking this knowledge out into the real world. I'm going to leave you with this final provocative question straight from our source text. Which is worse, arrogant or condescending? Think about it. Analyze the behaviors around you and use your amazing new vocabulary toolkit to figure it out. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.